What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 3 picks which I'll put down that I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, we do have to recap the day that was. I did a live stream last night. I shared 3 of my picks. I only went 1 and 2 on those. Overall, wasn't the best day. If we're going to find a positive out of it, was only 1.18 units behind, and that's because there were some value plays cashing for us. We had a doubles combo as well. But the great thing is, learn a couple of lessons yesterday. I'm going to make some adjustments moving forward. Let me talk you through it. There are 2 picks. Out of all the picks that I had, there's only 2 that I regret, and I'll talk you through those in a second. But overall, one thing that I did notice is a lot of these projections that I've been talking to haven't entirely been accurate. A lot of players haven't been playing the minutes that they're projected for. I then looked at more expensive projections, cost quite a bit of money to get these projections. I had a look at those today, and although I'm not going to buy them, I did compare them to the projections I have been using, and what I found was the more expensive and more accurate projections are a lot more conservative than what I've been working with. So I'm going to make that pivot, make the adjustments, probably project players a little bit less than what I normally would to get more accurate data and then hopefully more accurate picks. But let's talk through the day. What did we lose? And then I'll talk you through what I found. The first one, Benedict Mathurin, took him over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He didn't see the minutes that he was projected for. He was efficient scoring the ball because the matchup was good. I spoke about that, but the projections were off. He did see extra minutes in more recent games because Aaron Naismith, the player that he subs in for, found foul trouble in more recent games, and I failed to take all that into account. Benedict Mathurin only saw 9 minutes in the first half. So that was a bad read, but it was a lesson learnt, believe it or not. Ja Morant, over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He actually saw the minutes. He had the opportunities. He just played like rubbish. He was under in every single prop line, 26% from the field. He had 5 turnovers. And upon reflection, I can't explain why he was so bad. Maybe I missed something, right? So if you have the answer why Ja Morant was awful today, I'd love to hear it. Santi Aldama, took him for over 11.5 points. He played more minutes than he was projected to play. He had excellent shot volume as well. He just shot awfully. 28% from the field, 20% from deep on 10 shots. That was a good read, honestly, despite the bet losing. If you told me Santi Aldama was going to take that many shots and his line was 11.5, I'd take it every single time. Franz Wagner, shared this one a couple of days ago when I did the Props Madness tutorial. Over 26.5 points. He played the minutes I expected. He was looking great until the fourth quarter, and then he was awful from there. 1 from 5 in the clutch, 1 from 3 from the free throw line as well. So a pretty bad finish for Franz. I feel like the line was just right. 26.5, the line was pretty much spot on, sharp line. I expected Franz to be excellent given the matchup, and he wasn't. He was average, and I got an average result out of that. So I didn't hate the bet, but there were definitely better ones out there. Tyrese Maxey over 25.5 points. He played 34 minutes in a blowout. This was looking like an excellent bet. 14 points, 9 attempts by half time. I was looking for him to take 20 shots. And if he took 20 shots, I liked his over in this game. Unfortunately for me, he only attempted 1 shot in the second half. He played 14 minutes. The Celtics are pulling away, and he didn't even look at shooting. Like, all the bench players took more shots than Maxey did whilst Maxey was on the court. Earlier, I was saying this, we need to have an investigation to this, but I've settled down since then. It is what it is. It was a blowout after all. So that sucks. The matchup made sense, but got to factor in those blowouts, man. Donovan Clingan, over 10.5 rebounds. This was an awful read. I should have waited to see if Rob Williams was going to play or not. I jumped the gun. I went in early, and he doesn't get close to his projected minutes. So a lack of patience from my part there. That was a bad one. And then Stephon Castle, I took him for over 14.5 points. He saw the minutes. He had the shot volume. His shot percentage was terrible. He missed a lot of easy buckets. And honestly, I'm disappointed with his bet. I wanted to take his PRA. For those of you on the live stream, I spoke about his PRA the whole time. And then when I woke up this morning, I bet on his points. So I don't understand that, and I hate myself for it. Well, that's a strong word. Don't hate myself, but I'm a bit disappointed. Should have run with the PRA because that cashed easily. We did cash a few other bets. Karl Anthony Towns, over 27.5 points. That was a great read. It was all about volume. I expected over 25 shots. He took over 30. Still cashed this line. Evan Mobley, over 16.5 points. We cashed the bump at 17.5. He saw the minutes, shot 50% from the field. Sweatier than I would have liked, but we still got the money there. Miles Bridges over 6.5 boards. This was easy money. 5 rebounds in the first quarter. He finished with 13. And we hit a value play. Jason Tatum. We hit Jason Tatum over his rebounds and assists. He had a triple-double. And then we hit a value play on Tatum as well. So we had a Tatum value play of 10 rebounds, 5 assists. And then we had a Bridges value play for him to get 10 boards. I was at plus 400. And we hit a doubles combo with those two things together. $75 into 562. But a reminder to those of you guys who are tailing me or just having your own struggles after all, like, don't go on tilt after a few days. It's the first couple of games since the All-Star break. A lot of these games have been a little bit wacky. It's a bit weird. Players aren't playing that well. Rotations look a little bit different. It's strange out there. But if I was being ultra conservative, I just wouldn't bet that much until things really steadied the course. But that's not in my nature. We run with the same strategy. We keep going. It's got to be over 200 units this season, and I'm not going to change it right now. A really bad day for me is if I lose 10 units in a day. But a great day is where I win over 30. So I bet with volume, losing days will feel worse and winning days will feel better. So don't sweat it. If you feel like you're going on tilt, just take a day off. Like, your mindset is the most important thing when it comes to this game of sports betting. Keep your mind right and everything will be okay. Now, enough about that. That was a very long speech. I wasn't expecting it to be that long, so I apologize. Let's get into these 3 picks. I'll share with you a couple of leans and we'll bounce the hell out of here. Let's go. So jumping into props madness, as you know, this is the best tool you're going to find for NBA player props. There's an awesome new feature coming in the next 7 days. You guys are going to love it. I'll make a lot of noise about it when it comes, but they're constantly adding new features to enhance the sports betting experience, to give you an edge so you can win more bets. So I encourage you to check it out. 7-day free trial in the video description below. If you use the code DAFT when you sign up, you get 25% off as well. Now, I've only got 3 picks. I've gone through half of the games, more than half of the games, and I only have 3 picks. It's not like I'm withholding anything else. Right now, I only have 3 picks, and I'm going to share them all with you. The reason why I only have 3 picks is because I went a bit conservative with those projections, the minutes projections. If someone was projected for 35, instead of looking at games between 33 and 37 minutes, meaning giving 2 extra minutes on each side, I'm putting more minutes to the opposite side. So you're projected for 35, and I'm looking at an over. The most I project you for is 36, and then I play things down to 31, 32. Now, being more conservative with these minutes and projections means there was a lot less bets out there for me to find. I found a lot of reasons not to bet a lot of players I normally would. So hopefully that's a good sign. Less bets, hopefully more quality and more wins for us. But I'll take you through the 3. Went real deep in a lot of those. So let's talk about it. The first one that we're going to go through today is in this Houston Rockets game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I've actually got 2 in this game. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in this game. It was the first one I looked at. But 2 in this game, and I've got 1 in another. The first one we're going to go through is Amon Thompson. So for Amon Thompson, I'm looking at under 5.5 assists for him. Bet365 had the best odds when I took it at minus 120. Still there as I record this. Now, he's only hit this line, believe it or not. He's only hit over 5.5 assists in 5 out of 52 games this season, which is nuts. But I also get it, right? The 5 games where he did happen to cover this line are more recent games. They all happen on this side of the calendar year. Against the Cavs, plays 41 minutes. Against the Nets, 41 minutes. Against the Knicks, 37. Against the Nets, 40 minutes. And against the Phoenix Suns, he played 41 minutes. So we're seeing big minutes here for Amon Thompson. Now, I looked at my projections for Amon Thompson, and he's projected to play only 32 minutes. Like, his projections have come down. Jabari Smith is back. Amon Thompson does keep his spot in the starting lineup, though. So I wouldn't be looking at Amon Thompson with Jabari Smith in the lineup because their minutes are completely different to what they used to be. But in saying that, Amon Thompson's still projected to play 32 minutes. Even if I bump the projection up to 36 minutes, he's still under this line in every single game where he plays 36 minutes or less. So I feel like there's a bit of an edge here. And I think the books are pricing this line at against his numbers without Fred VanVleet. So Fred VanVleet is out. He's been out for quite some time. Now, if you take a look, without Fred VanVleet in the lineup, Amon Thompson averaging 6 assists per game. 6 assists. He's over this line in only 3 out of 10 games. He has hit 5 a lot, which means we're taking it under here. This is going to be sweaty as hell, but I personally think this line should be at 4.5. The fact that we can get it at 5.5 for minus 120, it's going to be sweaty. The matchup is difficult. The Timberwolves don't allow too many assists. He had 5 assists against the Timberwolves last time in 37 minutes without Fred VanVleet. Now you enter Jabari Smith Jr. I don't see him getting any assists to Jabari Smith Jr. If anything, Jabari Smith Jr. takes some of his minutes. So I'm rolling with it. Amon Thompson, under 5.5 assists. A lot of you guys have been asking me to do more unders. As much as it sucks, as much as it's going to be painful for me to watch this game, it is what it is. I'm taking Amon Thompson under 5.5 assists. My next pick within this same game is for Naz Reid. And I'm taking over 7.5 rebounds here. I got this for very close to plus money. It is starting to move. If this moves at 8.5, would I still take it? The answer is yes. I don't know if it will, though. To go from plus money at 7.5 to 8.5, that's a big shift. But let's see where we go. So for Naz Reid, what's the angle here? Since Julius Randle's been out, that's the main thing I wanted to look at. Since Julius Randle's been out, Naz Reid averaging 8.8 rebounds, covering this line in 5 out of 8 games. This game here against Washington, he got injured. He only played 20 minutes in that game. So I just want to exclude that Washington game so we get a more realistic sample size. So these are his rebounding games, excluding that game where he got injured. 9.6 rebounds per game over this line in 5 out of 7. Played the Houston Rockets early Feb, had 11 rebounds in that game as well. Now, he's projected to play 36 minutes here against the Houston Rockets. Sorry. He's projected to play 36 minutes. And if we run the numbers on 36 minutes, it does look a little bit better. But before we do that, I just want to show you how he's performed against the Wolves. I mean, far out. I keep saying the Wolves. What's wrong with me? It's almost 12 o'clock at night. It's late. He's played against the Rockets 3 times. Now, check this out. He had 7 rebounds in 27 minutes. He had 3 rebounds in 24 minutes. And then he had 11 rebounds in 36 minutes. The last game where he had 11 boards, that was the only game he played against the Rockets without Julius Randle in the lineup. Now, like I said earlier, I'm being conservative when it comes to his minutes. He's projected for 36. I don't want to look at games that are over 36. So if we look at games when Naz Reid plays a maximum of 36 minutes, but a minimum of 32, check this out. Naz Reid still crushes this line. 6 out of 8 games, averaging 9 rebounds per game when he sees the minutes. So that checks out. Opportunities definitely should be there for Naz Reid. Now, I looked a little bit further into this. The first thing, he's going to have a significant size advantage here against the Houston Rockets. The Rockets only play one big at a time, whether it be Şengün, whether it be Jock Landale, whether it be Adams, right? They only play one of those bigs, which means Naz Reid's going to have a significant size advantage. In terms of who he's going to be defending, he'll probably find himself defending Amon Thompson a lot of the time. Amon Thompson, not a threat from the perimeter, which means Naz Reid can easily sink in and get some rebounds. Rudy, Şengün, they're going to be banging, if Rudy plays, of course. But they're going to be very busy with each other. The other thing I like about this bet is post the All-Star break, like I said, a lot of these games are a little bit wacky. Shooting percentages don't seem as high. A lot of games are going under, like some games projected for 250, Memphis versus Pacers, that only finished like 230 perhaps. A lot of games going under, percentages aren't great. These are 2 good defensive teams as well. The total's projected for 216, low as hell. So I think there should be a lot of rebound opportunities as well for Naz Reid. Had a lot of success against them last time. He had 4 offensive rebounds in this game, and a lot of those are just tip-ins. So Naz Reid, if he's aggressive, crashing the offensive glass, I think he can get a lot of boards that way as well. Just a lot of tip-ins and stuff. So Naz Reid, I do love his rebounds today. I watch a lot of film and a lot of video on it, so hopefully he delivers. But the opportunities will be there. 32 to 36 minutes is all I ask. If he doesn't play that, then I'm going to throw my projections out the window. But my last pick that I have for you guys is between the Toronto Raptors and the Miami Heat. And I'm betting on somebody that you probably never heard of and you never considered betting on yourself. We're looking at this guy, Jonathan Mogbo. And I'm taking him for over 2.5 assists. Jonathan Mogbo, you heard that right. So, firstly, Jonathan Mogbo, he's not a center, but he will be playing center in this game. He actually played very similar to Scotty Barnes. If you imagine Scotty Barnes, who refused to shoot the ball, you pretty much got Jonathan Mogbo here. But no Jakob Poeltl in this game. So he's projected to play 30 minutes in this game, sweet Mogbo. But again, being conservative, looking at games where he plays at least 25 minutes. Now, when he plays at least 25 minutes, he's over this line in 5 out of 7 games. He's averaging 3 assists per game. I love it, right? He's also played the Miami Heat 3 times this season. Take a look at this. In the first game, 15 minutes, he had 2 assists from four potentials. 14 minutes, 6 assists, 9 potential assists in the second game. And then more recently, at the end of December, he played 30 minutes. He had 4 assists, 6 potentials. So then I went back and I looked at maybe his last 30, probably about 20 to 30 assists, right, on the season. Went back and looked at all of his assists because I'm thinking, how the hell is this guy getting them? And what I actually found is a pretty good passer of the ball. The Toronto Raptors run a whole lot of back cuts. He's got a great entry pass to cutters. RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, his favorite targets are there. Likes to drive the ball. He's got a decent handle for a big guy. Drives the ball. Loves to dish it out. Barely takes a shot. Always drives with the intention to pass. And for that, he finds a lot of Emmanuel Quickly shooting, RJ Barrett shooting, and Egbaji shooting as well. Not much Grady Dick action, but what can you do? So he's got the backdoor cuts. He's got driving and dishing. He'll get offensive rebounds and always look to pass it. Plus, if he gets a defensive rebound, he's not afraid to put the ball on the floor. So he'll push that ball in transition and he'll find some guys cutting towards the rim. So he's got a lot of ways that he can get these assists. Plus, I forgot to mention, a whole lot of handoff action. A couple of these ones right here. Didn't mean to do that, but it happened. So tons of ways that he can get these assists. He's going to be on the floor for at least 25 minutes, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of opportunities here, and he's up against a team where he's had a lot of success getting some assists on. So Jonathan Mogbo, probably the only person in the world betting his assist prop today. That's not true, because all of you guys will be too, right? But Jonathan Mogbo, I do like his assist today. Over 2.5, excellent odds across every single book right now. So Jonathan Mogbo, over 2.5 assists. Let's go. Now, it's real late at night, so I don't want to drag this thing out because I have a tendency to do that. But I'll take you through a couple of leans. And these are players that I did like, I wanted to bet, considered it, found a reason not to. But I'll take you through what I like, what I don't. And if you think it's a good bet, go ahead and jump on. There's only a couple of them. I'm not going to do a deep dive, but I'll share with you all the leans. I do ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. My old channel is actually back up and running again. I think I can post content on there. I'm just a little bit scared to do so because I don't want to lose it. So I'll keep putting this type of content on this particular channel. The other one, I'll figure out what to do with it. So I do ask, if you want to see the picks every single day, you want to see the deep dives, the analysis, the insights, or you just want to help me out, subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment down below. Let's push this video out to more people. But enough about that. Let's get into these leans. Let's go. All right, my first lean here was on Darius Garland. So the whole angle here is that the New York Knicks are the worst team in the league in terms of points allowed to pick and roll ball handlers. Darius Garland scoring 36% of his points there. So he's got a great matchup and he's got a great hit rate as well. Now, Darius Garland, he's projected to play 32 minutes. Again, being conservative, I looked at games where he plays between 28 and 33 minutes. What I found, Darius Garland over this line in 18 out of his last 27 games, averaging 21.7 points per game. If we wanted to isolate it to the matchup, if we remove the top 10 teams at defending the pick and roll, I know the Knicks are the worst team, but if we just remove the top 10 best teams, then Darius Garland's over this line in 15 out of 22 games this season. He's actually over this line in 9 consecutive games when he has the appropriate matchup. So all that was looking fantastic. He smoked the Knicks earlier this season, 34 points back in October, a whole lot of points above the break, destroyed them in that pick and roll. The only reason I didn't take this bet for Darius Garland is I wanted to see how he performed since DeAndre Hunter got there. And check it out. Darius Garland under this line in every single game that DeAndre Hunter has played. There's only 3 of them, so I don't want to exaggerate it. But we had a 21-point blowout win against the Wolves, 23-point blowout against the Raptors, 13-point win against the Nets. That was actually a tough matchup for him. But against the Wolves and against the Raptors, pretty decent matchup for Darius Garland to score some points. And it didn't happen. And what I found was his volume hasn't been there. So in these 3 games, he's averaging 16 points per game. He's also averaging only 13 attempts in 27 minutes. In games where he plays 28 to 33 minutes, but he only attempts 11 to 15 shots. So that earlier one that I was showing you, 28 to 33. Let me get this up for you. This is how I talked myself out of a bet. When he plays 28 to 33 minutes, the hit rate is fantastic, right? But if we look at games where he takes 11 to 15 shots, because he's only averaging 13 shots per game with DeAndre Hunter, now he's only hit this line in 5 out of 11 games, averaging 19.4. So I was like, maybe this bet isn't as good as I thought it would be. So I dive in deep, maybe too deep, but I decided I'm not taking this bet. But at first glance, I thought this bet was fantastic. But the next lean that I do have is also within this game, and it's for Jarrett Allen. And I was looking at over 11.5 points. You can still catch an 11.5, but this likely moves to 12.5. And it'll move because it's probably going to be a popular play for the exact same reasons that I liked it. But wait to hear how I talk myself out of it. So Jarrett Allen, he's projected to play 29 minutes in this game. His hit rate against this line is great. Over his last 27 games, he's hit this line 19 times. It's a 70% hit rate, averaging 13.9 points per game. Now, if we look at how he's played in 25 to 30 minutes, because again, we're staying conservative here around the time. When Jarrett Allen plays 25 to 30 minutes, check out this hit rate. When he plays 25 to 30 minutes, he's over this line in 11 out of 22 games. Recently, he has been bumping. I get it. I dove in a little bit deeper. When he plays 25 to 30 minutes, because he does have a great matchup here, right? He scores 26% of his points in the pick and roll. The New York Knicks, third most points to the pick and roll man. So I was like, let's have a look how he performs against the teams that suck at defending the pick and roll. Check this out. Against the teams that don't defend the pick and roll very well, Jarrett Allen is only over this line in 2 out of 9 games when he plays 25 to 30 minutes. Like, it sucks. That's at 11.5. At 12.5, he's only over this line in 1 game out of the 9 games. So the whole thing here is, if Jarrett Allen doesn't play 30 minutes or more, then it's going to be very difficult for him to cash this line. But if we look at the minutes, right, and if I move this to 30 plus minutes only, check out the hit rate. 12 out of 17 games, averaging 14.8. So it really comes down to the minutes and getting those things right. It's an 8.5 point spread. Cleveland, on their day, can blow out anybody. This Knicks team, they just went into OT. Will they be tired today? Perhaps. I don't know. But if Jarrett Allen doesn't get 30 minutes, this bet might be cooked. So that's how I talk myself out of Jarrett Allen. My next one, and this is the last one that I have, because as you can tell by the depth of the research that I've gone through, it's taken me a long bloody time to get all this done. So it's 12 o'clock at night. I had to call it at some point and say, I'm just going to create content based off the information I have now, and then I'll dive back into it first thing in the morning. But I was looking at Keon Ellis here, and I was looking at over 7.5 points for Keon Ellis. What was the angle here? I looked at how he performed with Zach LaVine. So the minute Zach LaVine came to town, Keon Ellis over this line in 4 out of 6 games, averaging 12.3 points. The only games he went under finished on 7 against Portland, 7 against the New Orleans Pelicans. So safe to say, he's performed quite well. He is their bona fide 6th man now. He gets the most minutes off the bench out of anyone for the Sacramento Kings, and he's going to see some minutes today. He's projected to play 26 minutes in this game. So what I did, check this out. This is what I ended up doing for Keon Ellis. This is how hard I went. I looked at, firstly, in these games with Zach LaVine, 27.7 minutes per game, right? Averaging 12.3. He's projected to play 26. I then got his points per minute played average. I times that by 21 minutes, 22 minutes, 23 minutes. Ultimately, what I found is, based on his averages, he needs to play at least 22 minutes to score at least 8 points, right? Now, the matchup here, I dove a little bit deeper. The matchup against the Golden State Warriors is pretty good as well. The Golden State Warriors allow the 3rd most points to spot-up shooters. That's how he scores 41% of his points. They are particularly weak around the corners. You can see it here. The Golden State Warriors deny points above the break, but they give them up in the corners. And for Keon Ellis, he's scoring 29% of his points from the corners alone, which is a very small spot on the floor. Keon Ellis is their designated shooter from the corners. So he's got a really good matchup. I also found 11 out of the last 15 similar types of players have covered their points line against the Golden State Warriors as well. Now, how did I manage to talk myself out of it? Actually, I got more winning points here. 2 games against the Golden State Warriors this season, he scored 11 points in 24 minutes and 8 points in 21 minutes. Now, keeping in mind my projections have him at 26, even if we get conservative and say he plays 24, still covered against the Golden State Warriors in both games. So how did I manage to talk myself out of this bet? Well, the reality is Keon Ellis doesn't really see volume. the shot volume is not high. You're really relying on efficiency. And when you're relying on efficiency for someone like Keon Ellis, you get what's called variance. There's good variance, there's positive variance, and there's negative variance. And I think Keon Ellis has been playing quite well since Zach LaVine joined the team. If we go through each game, or we just use props madness here and I look at his field goal percentage, what we can see here, his field goal percentage since Zach LaVine's joined the team is 60%. Right? His season average is 46%. So when we talk about variance, I'm talking about he's been playing and shooting a lot better than expected, a lot better than he normally does. And the risk here is that he regresses back. And that's what variance is all about. So that's the only reason I didn't bet Keon Ellis. At surface level, it looked pretty good. When I dove a little bit deeper, it looked great. When I looked at the matchup stuff, it looked terrific. And then I went a little bit further and I managed to talk myself out of it. But that's Keon Ellis, over 7.5 points. I still think it's a good play. But again, I'm just trying to be a little bit conservative until the NBA starts to settle down. It's a little bit wacky right now. Hopefully we cash these bets. I get overconfident and we start betting like a crazy person again. But at the end of the day, profit's what we're looking for. I'll probably still end up with a similar number of bets that I normally do. It's just taking me 2 to 3 times longer than it normally would because I'm diving a lot further. But hopefully you guys appreciate that. If you didn't like the content, please let me know. If you felt like I spent too long to explain the picks, let me know. But if you enjoy the thorough depth and the analysis, the insights, all that type of stuff, I'd love to hear it. But what's most important is that, I hope you guys green out. That's the most important thing. I hope you enjoy it, right? I think most of us started gambling and sports betting because we enjoy the sport and we wanted it to be fun. Like if you get to the point where you're not even enjoying the game because you're gambling and probably not winning, might be time to reconsider some things. So I do wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you guys green out. I hope I do as well. If you have some best bets and some deep dives, some insights, analysis of your own, I would love to see that as well. It's clear that I'm passionate about this type of stuff, right? Let me see it in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply to it. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Best of luck to you. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.